distance, it looks like paradise, a tiny blue planet covered in spinning clouds. But we have our share of difficulties, problems that most of us did not make. There seemed to be no lack of experts in the art of doing harm. But what of peace? How do we begin to heal ourselves? The world. Is it still possible? It has always been possible. It is a simple matter of choice.
Without the need of having these weapons of war.
There was a time not so long ago when native nations faced the same difficulties we do today. They too were caught in conflict. But a man arrived on a shore off the lake we now call Ontario, bringing a message of peace. He traveled from place to place and spoke the way to be. People listened. Everywhere he visited, peace was left where war had lived. But the most feared man of all had yet to be convinced. Tadadaho did not want to yield. The peacemaker sat down with him and spoke in gentle words. He is said to have combed the snakes from his hair, to have transformed the fiercest warrior of all. But who today will comb the snakes from our hair? Tadadaho changed. He became the firekeeper, entrusted with tending the fire of the original 5 nations. So that the people would not forget, the peacemaker created a ceremony to symbolize the union of the nations, to remind the people of the pathway to peace. The ceremony continues today. It is still a way for people to heal and to bury the idea of conflict.
And he turned to the people and he said, I will choose this tree, the white pine, to be the symbol of the peace we have made today. It always stays green, and so shall be your peace. We're going to uproot this tree from the earth. And I challenge you men to take your weapons and to bury your weapons of war, so that your grandchildren in the future will not have any weapons to injure themselves with.
And after they had all done that, and these weapons were carried in dark currents the 4 directions of the earth, he replaced the tree. He says, I have replaced the warrior with the peacemakers and the great law.
The work of the peacemaker went further, the roots of what became the American democracy. The fate and history of the people of this land and those who crossed the sea seeking freedom were joined in the pattern of government, in the symbols used to visualize it.
The Haudenosaunee influenced the American people to freedom. They influenced them to a revolution. They influenced them to become independent and sovereign under their own flag. The government called themselves the 13 Fires, and they said, now we are going to take your advice. And they said that we are going to plant a great tree of peace in Philadelphia that's going to reach to the sky. And people can come under the shelter of these great leaves.
During the summer in which the Declaration of Independence was signed, a bit earlier, in June, there was a large group of Haudenosaunee people in attendance. Using contemporary terms, they were like consultants to the Founding Fathers.
The man whose signature was intended to send a message to King George was given the name Great Tree. The Great Tree and the Tree of Peace are symbolic of the Iroquois Confederacy. The tradition that the peacemaker began is carried on by the Tree of Peace Society under the direction of Jake Swamp.
With our oneness of mind today, we planted this tree. And we look to the heavens. And we ask the Great Spirit to get behind our efforts for peace that we will work towards in the future. And that we will all become one people again.
Founded in 1984, the Society has planted trees in nearly every state of the Union.
I was fortunate to meet Jake Swamp and to be involved in the Tree of Peace Society. I think the Tree of Peace Society has a lot to offer, especially in the native type approaches to environmental understanding. It's very practical and often very pragmatic. You can apply these teachings. That's the beauty of it. And if we equate this and apply this to our role in the environment and in our decision making and the consequences of our decision making into the natural world, it can be a very powerful thing. And it's a very unique approach to environmental education.
But there is something that runs deeper, like a river of life beneath the work of the Tree of Peace Society. The return of the notion of gathering people together to create change, of making a singular act to transform the world around us.
We have to do this. We have no choice. We have looked into the future now, and we have seen that our world is going to turn into a desert if we don't help the nature replenish itself. And at this time, the prophecy is being fulfilled. But one thing we should not forget is that we must have hope so that we can promote the peace and make humankind understand that peace must prevail in the world if we are to survive as a human race. Now we will put our minds together as a people, as if we were one person, with one heart, one mind, and one spirit. We will give thanks to the earth, which is our mother, that provides for us every single day. And we give thanks to the Great Spirit for allowing us to come together at this very particular time in our lives. May we put our strength together for our children in the future. Thank you very much.
The tree planting ceremony is a commitment to the reconstruction of peace. It puts a living thing that will grow in a place that all can see.
Imagine the world with a tree of peace planted on every city block and village. We'd be reinforcing that peace is important every time we took our daily walk. Chief Jake Swamp teaches peace all over the world. I've been to several such events. He brings the elders to the United Nations to tell the prophecies. The young and old are mesmerized by the power of Jake's soft-spoken words. The tree symbol of the ceremony is part of the vision of peace. It's deeply rooted in nature, in history and tradition, and in our psyches. The tree becomes a vital tool for reinforcing the message.
As the number of peace trees increases, the idea of world peace will also increase. It is the idea of peace in the minds of people all over the world that will make peace real. By planting trees of peace in places where there is conflict, we can help bring about the presence of peace in places where it is needed.
צ'יף ג'ק סוואמפ, הבורא הרוחני של עם עמוק שבצפון אמריקה, מקדיש את חייו להפצת מסרים של אחווה ושלום בין העמים ובין האדם לטבע.
I think we're going to have to try the different ways. And this is only another way of trying hard to achieve our goal for peace.
I've had the pleasure of working with Jake Swamp many times. His Tree of Peace message inspires people of all ages and backgrounds and gives them hope for a better future. In February 1997, we traveled to Israel to plant trees as our contribution to peace. The response was wonderful. In one case, an important forested area, proposed for a housing development, was instead declared a park. Local residents and dignitaries alike came together with Chief Swamp to plant a tree of peace and declare their commitment to this noble cause.
It's a bridge between peoples, that we represent a neutral force that can come forward and offer a different way of looking at peace and how to attain peace.
The Tree of Peace Society sponsors opportunities for participation in the making of a better world. We also have programs in community development, environmental protection, and historical preservation.
The overall aim of any environmental education is to create an environmentally infant so that their actions, the consequence of their actions on the natural world, aren't too detrimental. A lot of the environmental degradation that's going on today stems from people's inherent disconnection from it, from the environment, from the rhythms of nature. Effective education is important. Through the peacemakers' traditions, they start with the individual's mind and the clarity of the mind before the education. From the mind, we go to the ground around. And then from the ground, we can go to the various institutions involved with the surrounding area. Through this kind of bridge building, we're able to teach both native and non-native approaches.
Chief Jake Swamp has been a friend to me and a friend to the environment, so I am happy to join him in this effort. In the tree planting ceremony, we renew our pledge to peace and renew our commitment to the natural environment. But it is more than just a reminder of that relationship. It's also a way for us to involve ourselves directly in the cause of environmental protection, because it demonstrates how close we are to the natural world and how dependent upon it, and vice versa. The work of Chief Jake Swamp has been an educational experience for people around the world. His work needs to continue, and I'm very happy to support it.
Most of the world thinks all you need is money. We are slowly rediscovering we must know nature. And Jake Swamp, one of the great Native Americans, is traveling around the world, talking to people and demonstrating by planting trees of peace. That will be the great victory for the entire world, when we know that we can live in peace with each other, even though we speak different languages, have different names for God, different ways of working, but nevertheless we work with nature and we'll get along.
The tradition of the peacemaker is alive today, and the power of the Tree of Peace ceremony continues. You can be a part of it. You can arrange for a tree planting in your community, or you can assist us with a contribution to help us continue the work.
Share everything down here to keep the lawn growing for the young people.
I come a long way to see this tree, and I hope that this will bring peace to the world.
Please help to keep peace alive. Join us. It will take more than wishing to make the world a better place. It will take a willingness to give ourselves to the process, to invite the return of peace, to nurture it back into being. Your contribution is fully deductible, so please be generous. You can make a difference.
Well, you just saw Jake Swamp, chief of the Wolf Clan of the Mohawk Nation in upstate New York, performing ceremonies of planting trees all over the world in the name of peace. Jake has been doing this for many years and has touched the hearts and spirits of many wherever he goes. He actually himself really is the tree of peace. I had the opportunity to meet Jake Swamp, actually to room with him a few years ago down in West Virginia at the Wilderness School, where he was a staff member and I was on the advisory board. I interviewed him at the time and we got friendly, and I had the great opportunity to see the man at work. And his work is peace, his work is love, and spreading the idea, the truth, that is, that we are all one in the eyes of God, our Creator, however it is each of us may conceive of that our own way. Still, it's a matter of physics. We are all truly one. Now, Jake is going to be joining many other elders, indigenous elders, wise men, wise women, teachers, shamanic people, medicine men, curanderos, from all over the world, representing indigenous cultures from Australia, the Aboriginal, from New Zealand, the Maori, from Japan, the Ainu, from Siberian cultures, ancient as the Ice Age, almost, from India, from South and Central America, from small Andean villages where some of the people have never left a few square miles of their own village, are coming to Virginia Beach next week for the Belonging to Mother Earth Conference. It's taking place between October 3rd and October 10th, and you all are invited. This is going to be, is already becoming, an historical event. Nowhere, at no other time in history, has there been what will be taking place. A gathering of people from all corners of the world, in particular, indigenous peoples, people who care about the preservation of their culture, of our culture, of all cultures actually, with particular emphasis on the traditional cultures of the planet, like those I've just named. We're coming together, number one, to heal our relationships beyond color, beyond creed, beyond race. White, yellow, red, black, all the same, on the level of deepest life and vitality. And different on the other levels, just like flowers blooming in nature. All colors to be appreciated and enjoyed for their very difference. So these are the themes that will be underlying our, and truly everyone is welcome to come. This has been in the making for years now through the hard, diligent work of the Chancellor of the Institute for Global Education, Richard Schneider, a dear friend, who I had on some years ago telling some absolutely miraculous stories of his work as Chancellor of Education in Alaska and his social work everywhere else in this country. That is really quite remarkable. And the ARE, the Association for Research and Enlightenment, which is the Edgar Casey Institute down in Virginia Beach. Well, there has been a collaboration over the past year between these two. And I and a few others who have been part of the process from a few years ago have rejoined and have been partaking in helping to build this conference into an incredibly unique one. So I'm going to give you a phone number that you can call to register or get involved if you would like. And that's 1-800-333-4499. 800-333-4499. You can tell them that you saw this show and learned about the conference belonging to Mother Earth and wanted to inquire more about it. I want to just tell you, just as there was the Harmonic Convergence on August 15th, I believe it was, 1987, that was put forth through the excellent work of Jose Arguelles, largely spoken of in The Mayan Factor, a book he wrote. This is an historical event of similar, if not even vaster proportion, at least terrestrially, because this is the first time that there has been the technology that we know about to fly people in from corners far beyond our imagination of the Earth to land in one place, the United States, Virginia Beach, and come together, different languages, different cultures, the Aborigines, the Mohawk, the Seneca, and the Ainu. This is just a beautiful, beautiful gathering. And it has a purpose. And the purpose is really to send our collective prayers and wishes and hopes and meditations to the Earth, our dear, true biological mother, and ask for forgiveness for the ways in which we have wronged her, that we have wronged each other, and by wronging each other we wrong her. So we are asking for forgiveness. We are sharing our great gratitude. We will be having sweat lodges. There will be ceremony on the beach in Virginia Beach. Most of the activity will be taking place under a tent at the DoubleTree Hotel in the middle of Virginia Beach. There will be live radio broadcasts for 4 or 5 hours each day for Radio for Peace out of Costa Rica. And it's going to be a very large historical event that I'm sure most of the viewers of this show would like to be part of. So in that light, I would like to read a bit from the beautiful, venerable words attributed to Chief Seattle, known as "This Earth is Sacred." Just a few words to share some of the spirit that we will be dealing with. And some of it is difficult. There have been many wrongs. There's been much struggle. There has been close to the eradication of the cultures that are gathering under one roof at Virginia Beach next week. So please understand, this is not just one happy, joyous event. There is mourning and grieving that is also part of the natural process of gathering together at this point in the history of the planet, in the history of society, and there is also primarily rebuilding, reestablishing, preserving, and creating a better for everyone. Just a few words. There's no quiet place in white man's cities. No place to hear the leaves of spring or the rustle of insects' wings. But perhaps because I am a savage and do not understand, The clatter only seems to insult the ears. And what is there to life if a man cannot hear the lovely cry of a whippoorwill or the arguments of the frogs around a pond at night? Well, the Indian prefers the soft sound of the wind darting over the face of the pond, and the smell of the wind itself cleansed by a midday rain. With a pinyon pine, the air is precious to the red man, for all things share the same breath. The beasts, the trees, the man. The white man does not seem to notice the air he breathes. Like a man dying for many days, he seems numb to the stench. A little too true. Anyway, the idea, as you hear, is a powerful one. It's a time of healing. Our relationships to each other, our relationship to our true biological mother, in addition to our mother's womb, is the Earth Mother. And so this gathering, without precedent, of hundreds and hundreds of elders, of medicine men and women, of shamans, coming together, of people coming together to join forces and talk about, celebrate, honor each other and the Creator. Together we will come together and really come to create a new network, a global network, which we can now use based on some of the white man's inventions. All of us have a role. Each one of us has a role in the larger web. If you're at all moved by what I'm saying or what you saw with the video earlier of Jake Swamp and the Tree of Peace Society, think about coming down and joining us for this 1 week of respect, honor, togetherness, unity, and conversation about how to work with our children today so they have lives worth living, so they have air to breathe, water to drink that's healthy and clean, that they have role models for living a great life in the future. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate your attention to this most vital matter. I will be videotaping down there and bringing some of it up to the show for you all to see. That is, for those of you who are not able to make it down. Please give me a call at 212-420-0800. I always love hearing from you, love your thoughts, feelings, and suggestions. In closing, I would like to just quote, again, Chief Seattle. And that would be to read this passage. If all the beasts were gone, men would die from great loneliness of spirit. For whatever happens to the beast also happens to man. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons of the earth. Man did not weave the web of life. He is merely a strand in it. Whatever he does to the web, he does to himself. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Mitchell J. Rabin for A Better World, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.